Hello everyone, this is week number 10, session number 10, dedicated to project management and especially the logical framework approach. After learning this topic, students will be able to understand that the logical framework approach is an effective technique that enables partners to recognize and analyze problems and determine goals and actions or activities to be undertaken to solving these problems, to do so in a systematic and logical manner. By using the structure of the logical framework, they will be able to evaluate the design of a proposed project in order to check its sustainability. The logical framework method is a tool for formulating interconnected goals, results, and activities and resource planning, taking into account external factors that we cannot influence. The approach of the creating a model for evaluation of results measurement, the logical framework is central to the management of the project cycle, and it is an effective planning tool for determining and analyzing problems, determining goals and assets for solving all these problems. The logical framework should be used for the preparation, implementation, and evaluation of a project. It plays role in every phase of project cycle, defines what the project aims to achieve, contains objectively verifiable indicators for measuring the achievement of goals, and effective monitoring. It must be updated during execution. Deliverables and activities may be changed as project work progresses, but not the project objective. The process of developing the logical framework is as important as its content. It should be prepared in very early stage of project planning and developed as far as possible with the participation of all groups of people and institutions that will implement the project or be affected by it. It must be prepared before the design sheet. The logical framework consists of 4 columns. First, overall objective, the causal relationships here between activities and goals at different levels that come last in the time and are most distant from the initial activity at the top. Those that come first and are related to specific activities at the base. Each level should lead logically to the one above it. Entries in this column will be reproduced in the project sheet and outputs and activities developed as needed. Objectively verifiable indicators, specific and objectively verifiable measurements of objectives. For example, general objectives, project objective results, answering the question what, how much, when, for whom, where. They are providing the basis for measuring project performance. Ideally, there should be no more than 2 to 3 indicators to measure the achievement of a single goal. Sources of verification only need to indicate where information on the indicators can be obtained. If it's not clear where the information can be collected, provision for this should be included in the design. The risks and assumptions that determine the achievement of the project objectives, they should always be expressed as assumptions. The assumptions are the answer to the question what do we allow after external factors for that are not effective by the project but may affect its implementation and long-term sustainability. If there is no real doubt about the admission, for example, Ministry of Finance remains responsible for the paying agency under the FAR, it should not be included. If there is some doubt, for example, suitable staff can be appointed, then assumptions should be included. If there is a great doubt, For example, Parliament's willingness to pass legislation, the project should be postponed or re-engineering to reduce reliance on such a risky assumption. The logic framework was developed in the 1970s and it is currently used by a large number of different agencies. Compiling a logical framework goes through two phases, an analysis phase and planning phase. The analysis stage is aimed at developing a vision of the future desired situation and choosing the strategies aimed at achieving it. In general, it consists of the following four steps. Stakeholder analysis, analysis of the problem. This is picture of reality. Third, analysis of goals. These are vision of the improved situation in the future. And fourth, analysis of strategies, comparison between different possibilities for achieving the goals. The vertical matrix logic defines what the project intentions are and clarifies causal relationships, specific important assumptions, and risks outside the project manager's control. Once the assumptions are made, the vertical logic of the project can be developed. If the preconditions are present, it can start the implementation of the activities. If the activities are carried out and the assumptions at this level are true respectively fulfilled, this leads to ensuring the results. If the results are assured and the assumptions of this level are true, the project objective will be achieved. If the project goal is achieved and the assumption of this level are true, it will contribute to the overall goal. The horizontal logic of the matrix is related to the measurement of the effect of the implementation of project and resources used. This is achieved by specifying key indicators and the sources through which they can be verified. The individual columns have the following content. The first column, intervention logic, it presents the main strategy of the basis of which the project will be implemented. These are activities and means, input resources that will be mobilized. The implementation of those activities leads to the achievement of results. The set of results lead to achievement of the project goal, and the purpose of the project leads to the achievement of the general objectives. Usually, the deliverables, the project objective, and the overall objectives are called goals. The overall objectives of the project or program relate to the broad problem that the project will help solve. These objectives represent long-term benefits for the final beneficiaries and wider benefits for the other groups. They also help to illustrate how the program first and fits into the regional or sectoral strategies of the government, the organizations involved, and the European Union, as well as into the overarching strategic goals of the European cooperation. The overall goals cannot be achieved through the implementation of the project. It will only contribute to their achievement. The definition of general objectives is done by selecting one of or more objectives from the top to the objectives tree that describe long-term benefits for society of the sector of which the project is directed. Project objective is the objective to be achieved by the implementation of the project. The objective should address the main problem and defined in the form of sustainable benefits for the target groups. A project can only have one goal. Having more project goals can make it too complicated, create problems with its management, lead to definition of unclear and conflicting tasks. In setting a goal, we move from the bottom of the tree to the top. How should the objectives of the project relate to the objectives of the program being applied. For first of all, the objectives of the project should be within the general objectives of the respective program, but they should not overlap with the objectives of the program because the dimension is completely different. The goal must be specific, achievable, consistent with the applicant's resources, and measurable. Almost all programs require that project goals and outcomes must be measurable. This is one of the main criteria for success of the project. Results are also a consequence of the implementation of the activities. They totally lead to achievement of the project goal, for example, to the provision of sustainable benefits to the target groups. They are determined by choosing from the three of the objectives those that, through the logic from means to the results, achieve the goal of the project. Any other deliverables that they would reinforce the project purpose are also added. They can be determined by further analysis of the opportunities and risks and associated with the specific situation. Activities are the actions and the means that were undertaken provided to achieve the results. They summarize what will be done on the project. From the three of the objectives, those that create the results are selected, and this turns them into activities. The second column are indicators that describe the project objectives, general objectives, project objective results in the form of quantity, quality, target groups, time, and place. Good examples are specific, measurable, affordable, applicable in terms of purpose, and time-bound. In the resources field, the most general forecast for the required resources, human or material, is recorded. There are no other activity indicators in the logical framework matrix. These are usually determined during the preparation of the schedule of activities. The third column, sources for verification. Verification sources indicate where and in what form information can be found on the achievement of the overall objectives, the project objective, and the result described by objectively verifiable indicators. In the expenditure field, the cost of providing resources and the sources of funding are recorded. The fourth column, assumptions. A project alone cannot achieve all the goals listed in the goal tree. After choosing a strategy, some objectives and other external factors remain outside the logic of the intervention. They also influence the implementation and long-term sustainability of the project, but remain beyond its control. In order for the project to be successful, these conditions must be taken into account. In general, the assumptions, the admissions provide the answer to the question which external factors are not influenced by the project but can influence its implementation and long-term sustainability. The general purpose, the goal of the project, is what the project itself achieves. It should address the underlying problem and be articulated as sustainable benefits for target groups. Its achievement depends on the use of activities that can start immediately after the establishment. If the assumptions at this level are found to be correct, if the assumptions of this level are proven correct, these results lead to the achievement of the project. With the achievement of the project's objective, in case the assumptions at this level have proved to be true, the project contributes to the achievement of the overall objectives. The main advantage of the logical framework approach is to help the team developing and implementing the project beta structure and articulate their ideas and present them in a clear and standard form. This approach clarifies the project action logic by presenting a hierarchy of the objectives and prevents the mixing of resources. Here you can see what the meaning of funds, sources, and means of verification assumptions are explained in details. Funds, the material and non-material funds necessary for the implementation of the activities. There are no activity metrics here, and the rest were already explained. How to plan quality, answering all these questions, when, how, and to formulate the most appropriate questions for each of the quality factors, to make a review why the project objective, deliverables, and the other activities and assumptions in terms of these factors. There are different types of indicators. Indicators of development used in relation to national development strategies for development of the country in terms of its economic growth, standard of living, poverty level in short, medium, and long term. Input, output, outcome indicators. Concerning the first input indicators, they measure financial, administrative, and normative resources provided by the government and donor organizations. A link is made between the resources used and the results achieved in order to assess the efficiency of the activities undertaken. They are not used in the logic matrix. Output indicators, they measure the immediate direct consequences of the measures taken and resources used. Outcome indicators, they measure short-term outcomes at the beneficiary level. They are located at the results levels. An impact indicator, they measure the long-term consequences of the results. They measure the common goal as well. The quality, the sustainability of the project could be measured by the factors that ensure sustainability, duration, durability, preservation. They are also part of the logical framework. A project can be said to be sustainable when it continues to deliver benefits to its beneficiaries long after the bulk of donor support has ended. Um, in some cases, the term quality is preferred to sustainability, emphasizing that quality is an attribute of the project from the very beginning of its development, while sustainability, by definition, does not emerge or not until after the end of the project. Very often, a quality problem arises, then the problem management process is applied and the relevant activities are included in the schedule. More of them are being collected aside some kind of information collection activities being added to the schedule. Analysis of the results leads to changes in work process and additional quality control activities. All of this work will be reflected in the schedule and budget. For complete verification of the logical framework, a number of questions can again be asked. Is the vertical logic complete and consistent? Will the activities actually lead to achievement of the objective? Are the assumptions realistic and complete? Are the risks acceptable? In this, what is actually wanted and whether the expected benefits justify the costs?